New York's Lower East Side has long been one of the city's most economically depressed neighborhoods. The area was once a refuge to successive waves of poor immigrants who came here in search of a better life. Today, life is still a struggle for the inhabitants of the Lower East Side. More than 30% of the families in the neighborhood live below the poverty line. The homeless population is swelling, and drugs and crime are epidemic. Cutbacks in government programs have compounded the level of distress, heightening the need for local action. This is a community in crisis. For nearly 150 years, Trinity Lower East Side Lutheran Parish has served the needs of the hungry, the homeless, the poor, and the children living within its ministry. Today, Trinity Soup Kitchen serves 1,500 hot meals each week. Its food pantry provides groceries to the elderly. Its homeless shelter gives a bed, food, and counseling to 9 homeless men. And its after-school program enriches the lives of 30 neighborhood children. Trinity's mission is to welcome anyone into the community of the church and to extend its activities beyond the Sunday morning service.
We do not say to people that in order to eat with us or to live in our shelter or to receive food or to receive any kind of help that they have to come to worship with us. There is no holding food out with one hand and hiding the other hand behind her back and trying to grab them when they get close enough. We try to welcome those who are homeless and people who come to us into the church simply by loving them, simply by making them feel welcome, by treating them with dignity and respect, a kind of humanity that they just don't experience on the street. People who are homeless on the street have a very difficult time regaining independence. They don't have a place to sleep at night, to rest. They don't have a place to work. They're constantly on the move. It's constantly a survival from day to day.
Unfortunately, like many of the people it serves, Trinity Lower East Side is without a home. This is the lot where Trinity Church used to stand. In 1975, the church was condemned as unsafe and torn down, leaving only a small parish house next door. Today, with the church and its programs scattered over 3 different sites, it is becoming more and more difficult to accommodate the ever-expanding needs of the community. In the small kitchen of the parish house, Evelyn and James Ragg prepare 300 free meals 5 mornings a week.
We feed basically the homeless people. I say basically because some might even have a job, but they have a place and they don't have cooking facilities. Some are homeless, some are squatters or whatever.
One of the unusual aspects of this ministry is that even though the members of Trinity have been low income, these folks have always claimed responsibility for this ministry, whether they are homeless or not. What we do at Trinity is simply to provide emergency services. Our intention is to help people directly, a kind of a hands-on ministry. People can count on us.
Okay, we're ready? We got it? Let's go, guys.
Every afternoon, Trinity staff and volunteers pick up a group of neighborhood children and bring them to the parish's after-school program.
They arrive here at 3 o'clock, and first we have a snack. We welcome them, try to talk to them a little bit, see how their days went, get a sense of how things went at school. Some of their parents work and they're latchkey kids and they go home and don't have anybody there to really watch after them, and a lot of them end up sitting in front of the television. Other children need a little extra help with their homework. They come from families perhaps where their parents don't speak English and they can't really help them with their homework, or families where there's just so many other children that it's difficult for a parent to spend a lot of time on homework with an individual child.
What did you get before?
You don't realize how the world looks through these kids' eyes. Despite all of the things that they do see around them, the violence, the noise of the city, just city life in general, they also can show incredible capacity for joy and happiness at being children. And I think this program has a lot to do with that. I really feel like we provide a place for them that's safe and loving, and they know what they're going to get when they come in this door.
In the mid-'80s, there were a great number of people living on the street. Tompkins Square Park for 3 or 4 years was filled with 200 to 300 people camped out under tarps on the benches in the band shell when that was still standing.
Trinity is located at the edge of the park. In 1986, in response to extreme need in the community, Trinity formed a foundation called Shelter and Food for the Homeless, or SAFE, to fund the daily soup kitchen and a model homeless shelter. The shelter houses 9 men, all of whom are in the process of regaining independence. The men cook their own meals and maintain the shelter. They are limited to a 6-month stay. Trinity has lost its lease on this space and soon will be forced to move out.
Tompkins Square Park was where I was before I came here. I stayed there for 2 winters, and finally the police came and they closed the park and fenced the park up. The housing is a very important thing, and the homeless people just needed some place to go, some refuge. And I was fortunate enough to be able to come here.
I sometimes will find myself shrinking away from people and get to have a very low self-esteem, feel like I'm worthless. Or when I see people walking down the street, I'll step aside because they have something they're going to and I don't. I think one of the first things that a homeless person misses is the privacy, where you get to reflect on yourself and get to solve your own problems. And that's what Trinity gives you most. When you have this privacy that I was speaking about, and you get to look into yourself and see you're no different from everyone else. And it coaches you into dignity, which is the beginning of the process of healing. Yes.
Trinity now would like to bring all of its activities under one roof. But to do this, the parish must have a home.
We are bold to pray for all things. Our Father.
After years of preparation, plans have been completed for a multi-use parish church house to be built on the site of the old church.
We need this building simply because our ministry has grown, because we are scattered over 3 different sites in the community, separated by 3 and 4 blocks, and because we need a physical witness and focus for our ministry. A sign to the community that we are here to stay permanently. Our hope here is that this building and ministry will be claimed not only by the members of this community, but will be claimed by other Lutherans who will see this ministry as a part of their ministry. So that what we are doing here is not just for us, but it's for the whole church.
Don't let it fall like slip. They got you.
We are also looking for contributions from corporations, foundations, and individuals outside the church who are concerned about these pressing issues. We seek to raise $1.5 million. This money will enable us to build a home for our ministry so that we may continue to respond to the urgent need in our community. Please help.